Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Mixed Signals. You guys, today I'm going to share with you how my family's character, their behavior before my mother passed away, at her funeral, and after. Now, my siblings, I've told you guys before, I did a story time about my sister, Malicious is what I called her. We'll keep that name. 11 years older than myself. My brother, I talked about Taylor, who passed away in 2022, and another brother, we'll call him Darren. He's about 3 years older than me. Now, I don't talk to any of these siblings to this day. This is a huge reason why I don't speak to them. You guys, I had moved back to my home state with my mother. I was getting out of a tragic, traumatic ending of a relationship, and why not go back to the root of the trauma, mommy's house, right? When I go back, it's probably about 2.5, 3 years before my mom passes away. And I got myself into school. You know, I'm working full time. I bought myself a car, cash. You know, I was doing pretty well within the first 3 months. And I just started noticing that my mother was back to her addiction. She was, nodding out. It was just getting worse and worse, to the point where I started having these dreams of how my mother was going to pass. And they were very vivid. It was me standing over my mother in my dream. She was halfway off the bed. Excuse me, you guys, if this is too much for you. But this is my experience. And I would be like, Mom, wake up, Mom, wake up. And she wasn't breathing. Couldn't get her to breathe, or, CPR wasn't working or anything. Now, I started telling my family about, these visions, these dreams, and that, hey, Mom is back to her addiction. And my sister, she would never come visit my mom. She had my niece, her daughter, and my mom wanted so badly to go, see my sister give birth. And my sister pretty much ignored my mom, up until like the week before she gave birth. Up until the month she gave birth, because she was arguing with another family member, so she wanted to tell my mom all about it, just to project onto my mom, about her sister. And my mom was like, well, I'll come down there and I'll be there and I'll support you. And my sister was like, no, that's unnecessary. I already have your parents, like my grandparents, and your sister that's going to be there, my husband, and some friends. And my mom was like, you don't even want me to come and help you afterwards or be there? Like, wow, this is my grandchild being born. You don't want me there? And my sister was like, I'm just really stressed out right now. No, she didn't want her there. But my sister would love to call my mom and tell her all about all her problems and what was going on in the family. My sister was a gossip, just like the other ladies in my family. Now, my sister continually would tell my mom that she was going to visit my grandparents. There was only one time that my mom got to go and see her granddaughter, but it was only at her parents' house. And my sister did that because, of course, she was like, well, Nicole told me you were in active addiction, this and that and whatever, and I don't want that around my daughter. I can't have that around her. Mind you, her husband... not that marijuana is a drug or anything, but it definitely makes you kind of disconnect sometimes from your reality. And he was a habitual pot smoker. It was all day, every day, all night, every night. To the point, you guys, in the beginning, my sister was like, I can't leave my child alone with my husband because he smokes pot, but stayed with her husband. Now, again, that's her choice. Fine. My brother... Taylor would say things to me like, oh, well, I have a warrant in that state, Nicole. I can't come back there. I'm not like, yeah, I understand that mom's in her addiction. She's always been like that. That's obviously how she's going to die. That's how she's chose her life. I'm not mad at that. She can come visit me. I'll buy her a ticket, which he did. And my mom did go and visit him. However, you guys, my mom would be on her best behavior. Like when she went to go see my sister, she was clean. When she went to go see my brother, she was pretty much clean up until like the end when it came to her leaving, where he said, I caught her a couple times nodding out. And again, my brother would say things throughout those couple years like, I'm not coming over there, you know, because I have a warrant. They don't deserve my money. My brother was very well off in his 30s. He married somebody who was basically retired and making really great money. But again, my brother wasn't willing to pay a lawyer to get rid of these warrants. He just didn't think it was serious. Now, my other brother, who lived about 15 minutes away from my mother and I, he had gotten into a situation with my mom's finances while she had gotten in trouble. This is a whole other story time I'll have to do. And, you know, it stole like $14,000 from my mom, and my mom wanted him to sign a contract that he was going to pay it back. And he refused. He was blame shifting. He was saying how manipulative she was, that she's a liar. And she was like, I don't know how I can be those things when you're the one who stole from me. You're a thief, you know, and I could ruin your whole, you know, life with one call to the police, which her family members actually, her parents were like, call the police on him. He stole from you. This was her golden child, by the way. So, you know, my brother, Darren, didn't really want to come around very much after that. It would only be if my mom was giving something of herself, like food. She was making dinners. It was Christmas. They had to go see my grandparents. He's like, yeah, I'll drive. Because he knew, oh, my mom's going to pay for everything, you know. Now, again, you guys, I'm telling my family members leading up, years are going by, and I'm getting in arguments. Like, I got in an argument with my grandparents, and I didn't talk to them for almost a year and a half, just because instead of helping their daughter out, my mother, they decided to look at me and say, well, we're more concerned about you and why you're saying your mom's going to pass away and these dreams, and, you know, you were drinking that night. Are you okay, Nicole? Are you going to be okay? You know, where I was like, you know, your daughter's an addict. You know, she needs help. Like, I just can't, you know, I can't help her out. I need the whole family to come together and support me on this. You know, which in turn they told my mom. My mom got very upset with me. This is really when I started staying at, you know, a friend's house. I was renting a room from somebody, then, you know, dating somebody, staying at this person's house, because my mom was constantly lying, gossiping, covering up her addiction, trying to say things like, oh no, it's Nicole that's the problem, not me. You know, all for telling the truth. Now, fast forward to, my mom passes away January 2017, but let's fast forward to 2016, November. Now, again, I told you guys, I'm telling my family members to the point where I'm telling my siblings, like, you guys need to get down here ASAP. You know, mom's not going to be here for that much longer. Like, you need to say your goodbyes while she's still, you know, here. No, Nicole, she's fine. You know how mom is. And I'm like, you guys, the last thing I want is anyone acting a damn fool at her funeral. I said, matter of fact, are you guys even gonna go? Because you won't even take the time to come and see her. And they were like, yeah, you know, I can make the time to go if she passes away, but like, you know, I think she's okay. I don't think it's anytime soon. Guys, my mom was 58. And I'm just like frustrated with my family to the point, you guys, where my sister, Malicious, was like, put her in a home. Have her committed. Do something. Like, if it's that bad, just put her in a home. You guys, my mom would take 150 pills, 10 milligram, in 7 to 10 days. And then she would, this is how bad she was, she would purposely burn herself, okay, and have like 2nd-degree burn, have to go to the ER, and of course they're going to prescribe pain medication. My mom was, I mean, an Oscar award-winning actress, okay? She was shooting for that best actress every single time, and she got it every time. Like I told you, when she would visit other family members, they would second guess what I was saying, because they'd be like, she was fine when she was here. I mean, she was tired. Like, she's been tired for 35, 40 years. What do you mean? You know, like, you know, where it was like, she's faking, or, you know, she's purposely hurting herself. You know, she would twist her ankle and have to get crunches. And I was sitting there taking pictures, okay? And I'd be sending them to my brother and sister, and I would be like, so you're telling me this is okay? And then that's when my sister was like, oh yeah, have her committed, put her in a home, she's done. And I would be like, you are so ruthless. You are so rude. You know, I understand what happened with you guys, but I really need your help right now. You call her all the time anyway to complain and project on her. I was like, why don't you just come here and see? And she'd be like, I'm not going back to that state. It's ghetto. It's gross. And I would be like, girl, it's not about that. You know, this is about helping mom out. This is the last time. Like, she's not going to make it after this. And again, I would say, I don't want anyone acting a fool at her funeral. You might as well not come. Now, my sister lived close to my aunt that my mom hadn't spoken with in 25 plus years. You know, and my mom would say things like, she better not come to my funeral, you know, which was her sister. You know, she has no business being there. We don't even talk. She's a liar. She's this, she's that. She's a witch. My mom would always call her sister a witch. Which I found out later on, every time I would talk to my sister, she would be reporting back to my aunt. Huge reason I don't talk to my family. Because I didn't talk to my aunt either. Just because she had lied on me about some terrible, you know, stuff you don't lie on a child about. Now, November comes around, and my grandparents call me. Like I said, I hadn't talked to them. And they're like, Nicole, hey, your siblings have called us and let us know these things. What's going on? Mind you, I didn't talk to them for a minute. So I'm like, I don't know. Nothing's changed since the last time I talked to you guys and you told my mom what I said. And they were like, okay. I'm like, yep. So, well, is she doing this? I'm like, nothing's changed. Keeps doing the same thing. Just like last time I told you guys. And you called my mother, Karen, and told her what I said. Got in a huge fight. Okay, well, we don't really know what we can do. You don't know what you can do? Okay, well, maybe you could come down and see her for yourself and make your own, you know, judgments and figure out what steps to be taken. Like, these are her parents that know she's a drug addict. Now, right after I get off the phone with my grandparents, you guys, my grandma calls my mom, and I'm literally in the living room hanging out. And my mom is in the next room talking to my grandmother with the door open, saying that Nicole's a liar. She's the addict. She's the problem. Remember when she went to your house a couple of years ago? Oh, she's even worse now. And I remember my grandma going, oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to have to go with, you know, we won't be able to allow you to come to Christmas this year. Yeah, you're not invited to Christmas. Until you can get your stuff together and get some help, you're not allowed to come to Christmas. And my mom starts going off. My mom is like, well, Dad's a drunk. He's allowed to get drunk every single day. You know, my sister, she takes medication as well on top of drinking alcohol. She's like, you're the enabler and you drink too. You know, my brother is a, you know, heroin meth addict. You know, you guys treat him like the slum and like trash, but he's still allowed to show up. And my mom is just going off on my grandma, her mom, to where I'm like, yeah, why are you not allowed to go to Christmas? I didn't go that year. My brother didn't go, but I was like, yeah, everyone is kind of messed up. Why are you not allowed to go? That's crazy that they would single you out like that. And in the end, my mom is just like, I mean, even though she's gossiping about me, lying on me, I'm still like, this is what she does. This is what Karen does. I'm still like, well, why would they uninvite you, but everyone else can show up? You know, my mom is like, you know, my sister, her other sister who lived close to her mom, she's like, her husband was a, you know, head for 25 plus years, but you guys allowed him to come and he was cheating on her. You know, and I'm like, girl, I'm sipping like, oh my God. You know, unfortunately, you guys, you know, my mom, she wasn't even that mad at me. She was just like, whatever, they're going to turn their backs on me, fine. She didn't really talk to anybody for like 6 or 7 weeks. Mind you, my mom was out of her medication. She had got fired from her pain management doctor right before Thanksgiving. So I was so thankful for that, because I'm like, thank God, she may make it. She has no way to get like drugs, and she definitely, like, my mom was buying them off the street. It was that bad. You know, where my mom was like, I can't keep affording to buy these, Nicole. Mind you, guys, my mom had no problem being in her active addiction around me. Not a problem. She did not care if I saw her. Even as a child, she didn't care. She would mask and hide it from everybody else, or do her best to. But with me, she had no problem. And that literally told me about my mom, that she probably didn't feel as judged around me. And I'm going to tell you guys why in a minute. But, like I said, she was off, her medication. So she was coming down, and she was just to herself, very depressed. She ends up finding another pain management doctor, and the, appointment is for like January, I want to say 20th, maybe 19th, 18th, something like that. And, I just remember being like, let me look up the doctor, let me research, Anyways, this lady said she was more holistic. She doesn't provide pain medication, but she's a pain management doctor. My mom, this Academy Award winner, Oscar Award winner here, she got a prescription the first time she went to that appointment. How? I couldn't tell you guys. That's just how good she was. Anyways, my mom, I am, like I said, I'm hanging out at friend's house, my boyfriend's house. I'm going to school, full time. I'm working full time. And I'm just like dealing with all this on my own. Nobody is coming to help. Nobody cares enough to come. And I'm trying to escape as well, but I'm still there. I'm still around. Now, it comes to the night before my mom passes away. And I'm like, let me stay the night. I think I'd had an argument with my boyfriend. And I'm like, let me stay the night at my mom's house and just, talk to her, hang out. And I actually had a really good time with my mom. We were talking. She was definitely high off of her behind. And, I didn't care. I was like, this is her. I accept her for who she is. We're going to, just spend whatever time we have together. I'm the only person that's coming around. I'm the only one she's got, So my mom and I were hanging out, we're talking, and my mom starts hallucinating, like around probably 11 o'clock at night. She's calling me by different names. She's telling me stories of the names, or stories of people she was with, calling me a different name. And I'm like, okay, Karen, it's time to go to bed. It's time for you to go snuggle up in your bed, go to sleep. We'll go through this almost like a parent, you guys. Since I was a child, I was like her parent. I was like, let's get you into bed, go to bed. It's nighttime. You're doing a lot right now. And she'd be like, oh, okay, calling me someone else's name. And I'd be like, girl, oh my gosh, go to bed. Finally, at like 1 a.m, my mom goes to bed. And one thing that I don't regret, but I feel terrible about, is I had it in my throat to say, good night, Mom, I love you. But I was holding back just because I can't even tell you guys why. Maybe her calling me other names, maybe her hallucinating, where I'm like, who is this person in front of me? I don't even know this woman, where, yeah, I feel bad about not saying that. Now, the next morning I get up, and it's like probably 8:30, and I do my check on my mother, and she's halfway off the bed. Honey, I rush over to my mom. I said, get up. I'm pulling her arms up, and it's just like heavy. Her arms are just heavy. And I'm like, oh, Lord. I'm like, okay. I was like, this is it. I was like, phone on the ground, 911, let me start CPR. So I'm starting CPR, and then I'm like, oh, her legs are still on the bed. So I move her legs, 911 picks up, emergency. I'm giving my mom CPR. I'm hearing the chest plate, breastbone, crack. And I'm like, Lord, please, God. I'm like, please. My mom's not breathing. I was like, she's not waking up. I've been giving her CPR for a couple minutes now. I was like, please send somebody over. And, they're asking their questions. And now I'm just having tears rushing down my eyes. I'm crying all over my mom. And I'm like, this is it. She's not going to make it, And I'm just face to face giving CPR, go, go, go with my mom. And thank God, here comes ambulance, and the police show up too, and there was like 4 of them. They just pulled her off into the living room, and they took over. They were injecting her with something, because they were like, what did she take? And I was like, Percocet, Klonopin. They're like, this will reverse the medication. And I just knew. I was like, she's not here anymore. She's not alive. They did everything they could. I'm calling my boyfriend while they're doing this, and first thing, he's the first person I called, and I say, hey, my mom is not breathing. This man was like, I'm on my way. Right now, I'm on my way. And he just hung up the phone. He was there within 10 minutes. They were still trying to give her stuff, asking me questions like, when's the last time you talked to her? And I was like, 1 a.m. We were up, and then, God, you guys, her shirt was completely off. Like, Lord, everybody could see her breasts. And, I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom, you got to make it, and, they were like, she's not going to make it, they had stopped everything. And I just remember this sigh that I had where it was just like, like just leaving my body. Like, I was like, this is it. I'm looking around. It's just myself, my boyfriend, my mom on the floor, passed away. And he's like, okay, my boyfriend's like, you got to start calling your family members. So one by one, let me call my brother, who is closest enough to show up. I called Darren. It took me 4 times to reach Darren. I don't call him. Me and Darren don't hang out. Pardon me. I'm like, why is he not? He knows it's got to be an emergency. 4th time he picks up the phone. I said, Darren, Mom passed away this morning. He was very calm, collected. He said, okay, well, I'm at work right now. And I said, did you hear me? Mom passed away. I'm looking at paramedics right now. I'm looking at the police officers. They're trying to ask questions. And I'm like, let me, let my brother know he can come here. And he's like, okay, well, I'm at work right now, Nicole. I'll be there when I can, probably around noon or something. I said, you know what, Darren? All right. Hung up the phone. I couldn't believe it. I was like, did you not just hear me that your mom passed away? She's still in front of me. You could say goodbye, whatever. Now, I call my other brother, Taylor, and like I said, you guys, it was like 8:45, 9 when all this started, so it's probably an hour later. I call Taylor, and it's noon where he's at, so I know he's on his walk. So I said, Taylor, he picks up the first ring. He's all, what's up? And I said, brace yourself for this. Mom passed away this morning. And he was like, oh, instantly bawling, crying, oh my God, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, well, I have some more people that I need to call. So I just wanted to let you know she didn't make it. And he's like, what happened? I said, I'm gonna let you go on that one, because I didn't already told y'all what was gonna happen. I told you, I'm not finna explain it now. He's bawling, crying. So next I call my sister Malicious. Malicious, I know, is gonna be at work. So it took her about 4 times to answer the phone. And I said, finally she picks up the phone. I said, Malicious, Mom didn't make it. She passed away this morning. My sister goes, Nicole, don't ever call me again. I was like, pardon me? She goes, don't ever call me again and say that. And I was like, what? I said, I don't think she's gonna die twice now. What? And she was like, I gotta go. And she just hung up the phone on me. And I'm like, girl, okay. Very strange response. Now, I called my grandparents, last people I called, and, I said, Grandma and Grandpa, you might want to sit down, but Mom didn't make it this morning. She's passed away. Oh my God, my grandma in the background wailing around crying, my baby, my daughter. My grandpa's like, Nicole, we're going to have to let you go. Okay. And I'm like, well, all right, bye. Those are the only people I called. Only people I cared to call, because those are the only people who I'm sure my mom would have wanted at her funeral, her kids and her parents. Now, let me tell y'all when these people showed up. Like I told you, my mom had a sister she hadn't spoke to in 25 plus years. Okay. This woman showed up, first person to show up with my sister. She lived, you know, just about a half hour away from my sister in a different state. And first person to show up was that woman. You know, my brother ended up showing up. I mean, they caught like a flight, I believe, the next morning. My brother, he actually showed up probably an hour later after we talked. And let me tell you guys what this man was doing. My brother was standing in the kitchen, just taking food out of the fridge, putting it on the countertops one by one. And I was looking like, are you good? What are you know? He was like, yeah, I gotta throw the food away. I'm kind of going back here. This was right when they had taken the body downstairs. The coroner had came and done all his information. They take the pill bottles. And my brother's just standing there, and he's like, just taking food out of the fridge. And I'm all, are you good? And he was like, yeah, you just worry about cleaning the bathroom, getting that all taken care of in the spare bedroom, okay? Whatever you have left over, just worry about you. And I was like, why are you taking the food out of the fridge, though? He was like, because I am. Now, during this time, I have a friend who's blowing up my phone. My coworker's blowing up my phone. I tell him I'm not coming in today. My mom passed away. Everyone's sending condolences. But I do have this friend who ends up showing up at my mom's house. And, you know, not that I really wanted her to show up, but it was nice to have support. And I'm just like a wreck, you know. And my brother, again, he's taking food out of the pantry, throwing it in the trash. I mean, full bags of food. We had just went grocery shopping for my mom. He's just throwing everything out. And I remember my friend was like, I'll take some of that home if you're just going to throw it out. Like, that's all good food, right? That's brand new that's brand new loaf of bread. He's got the gallon of milk like this, pouring it out. And my boyfriend, my friend, myself, we're all like, why are you throwing away food? And he's like, Nicole, you go and do that over there. I'm over here. Don't worry about nothing going on over here. You focus on that. You just do that, okay? And I'm all, bro, are you good? He's like, I got this. And, you know, my friend's like, you're just throwing away food, though. Like, we could take that food off your hands if you want. He's like, I don't care. My brother is throwing it in trash bags, taking the trash out. Like, I don't know what was going through his mind, right? So, like, let's fast forward to the next day. So my aunt gets there with my sister. This is an aunt that she don't talk to my mom. She don't hang around my mom. Don't call her. Talks about my mom all the time. What a horrible person she is. The one my mom called a witch. Now, she shows up with my sister. First thing, mind you, these people have never been to my mom's place. First thing they do, I remember it like it was nothing, guys. My sister goes, I wonder where her jewelry box is at. My aunt's like, let's go look for it. I said, her jewelry box? What for what? And my sister was like, oh, nothing, don't worry about it. You have never been to your mom's house before and you're only worried about her jewelry box? Insanity. My sister goes digging through my mom's stuff. My brother didn't say nothing to her. He didn't say nothing to my aunt. My aunt's sitting there looking through my mom's wallet, taking the cash out, handing it to my brother, who everyone knows good and damn well he owes my mom $14,000, talking about, here's some cash. Go take this and go grab this. You guys are going to need some stuff. And my aunt's looking at me like, oh, sorry, Nicole. I just think that he would be better with the cash. I was like this. All right. If that's what you think, because you don't know anything, but all right, if that's what you think. I don't even know why you're here. And my sister's like, Cole, where's mom's necklace? And I'm all, why? She finds the necklace. My aunt comes around, puts this necklace just like this on my sister, and she's like, now this is yours. My sister was like, good. And they're just hanging out in the living room. My aunt's getting ready to leave, not help us clean up or nothing. And my sister's like, well, I have to go back to the hotel. And I'm like, I know you didn't come over here just to get a piece of jewelry and leave. She's like, no, I'm going to come back, but I got to get my daughter and I got to, I just got to be okay. And I'm all, girl, I can't eat, guys. I'm like, I can't even believe y'all right now. Insane, right? The minute they come over trying to control everything. So, you know, here it goes, fast forward. Pretty much in that 2 days, I cleaned out the room and the bathroom. There wasn't very much there. And there was just like a file cabinet left. And I'm just looking through these file cabinets just to see if I could find any information on my mom or anything. If anything was wrong, nothing. She did have a do not resuscitate, which really made me sad because I'm like, dang, she really didn't want to be here. And like my brother said, all you need to worry about is the room and the bathroom. That's all I did. Now, my other brother, Taylor, shows up, and this is the day before the viewing, and he's coming through her house, and, you know, he's sad, we're all sad, and my aunt's there, I've got my grandparents there, I have another aunt there, and we're all just kind of standing in the living room, and, you know, everyone's just like, yeah, we'll just get this place cleaned up. You have, like, a certain amount of time after a death. It was, like, 2 weeks to clean a place out where you don't have to pay anything, and you know, just like talking about storage units and, mind you guys, not one person in my family was worried about like, where's Nicole gonna move to? Does she have somewhere to go? Like, do you want to move out with us? Or not one person was worried about like, where's she gonna go? What's she gonna do? Trash. Now, they were asking me like, do you want your mom's bed? My sister and my aunt were asking me, like, I'm like, oh, I don't know, she died on it, and then I'm like, well, she died halfway off of it, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe not. And then my brother was like, Nicole, are you gonna take her bed? And I was like, should I? I was just back and forth, where I'm telling them no, I'm telling my brother, well, maybe I should, I don't know, you know. And my aunt's like, well, she died on it, you really want that bed? And I'm like, that's my mom, she gave birth to me, like, you know. I was just a wreck, you guys, where I was just like, I don't know. And we're all standing around, and my aunt's like, well, you told us no, so why are you saying yes now? And I'm like, you know what? We'll just get rid of it. I don't even want to deal with y'all right now. I don't even know why any of you are really here right now. We'll figure it out, though. You know, like, my aunt did not lift nothing to go pack for storage at all. You know, she just wanted to point fingers and direct everybody to do everything. I couldn't stand being around them. Now, the next day is the viewing, and, oh, excuse me, let me talk about that night. We all end up meeting at this Mexican restaurant. Let me tell you guys about one of my aunt's behaviors, her character. My aunt, she had never really came down to visit my mom. She was always a gossip. Her and the other sister, the witch, would always go and see each other and hang out. You know, my aunt would always borrow money from that sister, and, like, they would never come. She would never come to see my mom. They would call sometimes. You know, her other sister, not the witch aunt, but, you know, her other sister would call sometimes with my grandma, but not very often. Like I said, never would come and see my mom. Maybe a handful of times. She had seen her in 30 plus years. Now, my mom would always have to go to my grandma's house to see her other sister. Now, we're at this Mexican restaurant because she can't eat anything gluten. So she's like, we have to go to the Mexican restaurant, and we have to, or I can't eat. You know, where I'm like, oh my God, y'all. Like, we end up going to this Mexican restaurant, a restaurant that I had been to a couple times with my boyfriend, who was with me the whole time. You know, we would go and watch the game, you know, have a couple Coronas, chill back or whatever. And, you know, we knew that this was like a family-owned restaurant. Now, everyone's already there, and my boyfriend and I are walking in. I just start bawling, crying, because I'm looking at a table of people that did not show up for my mom. And I'm just like, what are you, like, again, like, what are y'all doing here now? Right? Very sad. I'm just standing there, just stuck, standing, crying. Let me tell y'all how my family looked at me. Every single one of them were like this. Just staring, blank faces. And I'm all, you know, I'm just bawling, crying, because it's like, I just witnessed my mother pass away. Again, none of you would help me. My brother comes from the table, Taylor, and he's like, come on, Nicole, let's go sit down. And I'm just like, I got this, you know. I'm like, I'll be okay. I just need a minute. It's just really, you know, really rough right now. And he's like, no, I understand. He starts crying. We're sitting down, and I'm just trying to, like, gather myself. There is a waitress that walks by, And I know this girl either is a daughter or a niece or like a cousin of the people that own the restaurant. I'd seen her there all the time. Like I said, it's a family-owned restaurant. Guys, this is like 2 days after my mom passes away. My aunt, right? Mind you, there's margaritas, liquor is flowing at the table, and I'm like, look at these, huh? Look at all them getting drunk. My mom didn't even drink alcohol, okay? Her cocktail was pills. Now, I'm like, at least celebrate how she would want to. Now, my aunt is pointing like this at this, Mexican woman walking past. She goes, oh my God, look at her fupa. Y'all, her husband went, don't do that. What are you doing? In front of the whole family. This is this is a restaurant full of people. Every table is full. And I looked at my aunt like, you better I was like, oh my gosh. And she's just like this, what? She has a fupa. I was like, girl, y'all, my aunt is like in her 60s. I was like, girl, you are so nasty. You are so disgusting. You can't even go out in public. Didn't apologize to this woman. I was like, and this is a huge reason, among other things, that I don't talk to my aunt to this day. How nasty of you, to sit there and point at someone like this. Look, out loud to everybody. Look at her fupa. We were like, I said, oh, she's done in my life. Let's fast forward to the viewing. Now, we are on our way to the viewing, and I am with my boyfriend, my best friend, and my brother. Darren has a lot of his friends there that knew my mom, and, my mom's friends are there from college. She's got friends from work. She's got friends from her therapy. I don't know if I told y'all that, but my mom was going to therapy, like group sessions, twice a week. Okay, pilled out. She got all these people there, and I was like, my family better not act a fool up in here. I know that much, because they're about to see the body. So before they let you in to view the body, they're like kind of giving you the rundown on what you're about to see. And, it can be really difficult. This is when you guys need to support each other, this, that, or whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's about to go down in my head. It's my grandparents first, then my aunts, then my sister. Both my aunts have their hands on my sister's back. And I'm like, for someone who never even came to visit, she sure looks like she's about to fall out. It's me, like my brother's in front of me, my friends, and, pardon me, my mom's friends and stuff like that. Now, they open the door. When I tell y'all, my sister flung her head forward. Oh my God! Screaming at the top, like piercing, y'all. Screaming at the top of her lungs. My mom! Ah! Screaming. I mean to tell y'all, it was like the whole crowd was like, what is wrong with you? Like, my aunts were like, get over here, move to the side. What is going on with you? It was like everyone was like, girl, what are you doing right now? My grandparents, they just looked at my sister and were like, God. They went in, viewed the body. I told my sister, get out the way, move. Like, what are you doing acting like this? My sister's with my aunt. She's like, oh my God, oh my God. Oh. She's like going crazy, screaming, bawling. My aunts are like, her husband's just standing around, looking around at pictures and stuff in the funeral home. And they're like, get over here, get your wife. You need to get over here. A whole mess, you guys. And I'm like, get out of the way. Everyone had went in. I go in. And I am like, I'm going to stand right next to my mom. There was only 2 hours we had to view the body. And I said, I'm going to stand next to her. I'm going to let everyone say what they got to say, do what they got to do. But I'm going to stand next to her. Almost like I felt like a protector of hers. You know what I mean? Like, I have to stand here and protect her body. I need to be here. Where I wanted to look at everybody who came up in there. Every single person that I called for help and support, guidance and direction. And I wanted to look at them look at her body. Look at her lifeless body. I knew my mom's spirit was up in there. I could feel her. I kept being like, yeah. Not that I was being disrespectful or being rude. I just felt it in me. Just stand next to your mom. I remember that when my sister came in, she was like this, like shaking. Her husband was like, what is going on with you? You know, she said, my mom is dead. You know, and he was like, okay, well, you know, say your goodbyes, you know. And she's just like, oh, crying. She's seeing the body, you know, and her husband's like, okay, let's go. Let's get you out of here. He's like pushing her to get out of the room. You know, and I was like, I told them, do not act a fool at this funeral. You had so many times to come and visit your mother, and you did not want to come. And now you sitting here hollering around, screaming, you know. I'm like acting a fool. Now, like I said, I stayed with my mom until they were like, come on, you got to come out. We're going to close the doors. We're going to, you know, start, you know, the process. And I'm like, okay, I felt really good in my spirit, though. I felt really good, like, I'm letting go. It's time for you to go, you know. And I just, again, like I said, I felt like I was a protector of the body. You know, like my legs did not want to move from that spot, you know. And like I said, I was, you know, touching her hair. I made sure I touched her hands, like her, you know, her sides. I was like, I'm sorry for breaking your breastbone, like, you know. And then, like I said, it was like an overwhelming feeling of like acceptance for me. It's just something I felt like I had to do. You know, I think one of my family members was like, come on, Nicole. I said, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here just like I've been here. You can go, you know. And they were, okay, yeah, all right, you know. I'm good, you know. They were all talking amongst themselves out there, and I'm like, look at all of them acting, you know, good for them. You know, I was overhearing people say things like, yeah, well, did you guys know? No, not really. No, I mean, no, we didn't know. I'm like, look at them lying out there. And they knew. I was telling them. They know. You know, now let's fast forward you guys to the funeral. Now, at the funeral, just all of us kids, her sisters, we were all upset. My brother, you know, ends up speaking. You know, he had a whole speech prepared. My brother Darren, and he was able to hold it together. And you know, she had quite a few people show up to her funeral, which was really nice. You know, and there was no craziness at the funeral. Now, you know, everyone basically had held it together. Now, it was after the funeral that we had went back to my family's. Well, we all went out to eat together and stuff like that. And once again, everybody's drinking, being merry. I'm not a big drinker like that. And I'm just like, you know, watching everybody, you know, drink, do this, that. Everybody talk amongst themselves. And, you know, they were trying to, like, share stories. And I'm still, like, in my heart, I was like, why is nobody talking about how they did nothing? Like, nobody's being honest or truthful. Nobody's sitting here being like, dang, I wish I would have came and seen her. I wish I would have came. I ended up leaving the dinner right after. I said, let me get a to-go box right after the food came out. I said, I don't even really want to be around these people. Now, that night, I'm getting calls from, like, family members, like, hey, we got to come, and, like, my siblings, like, hey, let's go, and we're packing everything up for the storage unit. And I'm like, I already did that. They were like, no, you know, you still got quite a bit of stuff that we could move. And I'm all, no, I don't. I said, you guys have quite a bit of stuff to move. I said, I did my part. My brother, Taylor, is getting upset, right? And he is saying things like, you need to come over here now and help us out. You haven't done anything. And I'm like, no, you haven't done anything. I'm like, you guys need to move the rest of mom's stuff. I took care of the room and the bathroom. And I'm speaking loud. I go, where's Darren at? And they were like, well, he's right here. It's just us. And I go, Darren, didn't you say just to do, you know, the room and the bathroom? And he was like, yeah. And I said, there you go. I did my part. And my brother was like, no, my brother Taylor is like arguing, no, you need to come over here. Mind you, you guys, I was having a miscarriage while all this was happening. And it was like far along enough where I had to go to the hospital and have a DNC. So I really shouldn't have been lifting anything, let alone I had just found out, I think 2 days before that, like the day after the day before my mom's funeral, that I had to go and have a DNC. And like I said, I was so emotional. I was just out of it, where I lost my mom, I'm losing the baby, and my brother says to me, Taylor goes, I'm telling Taylor, like, hey, I'm having a miscarriage right now. Taylor goes, well, sorry about your bad luck, but you need to come help us. I said, what'd you say to me, Taylor? And he was like, sorry about your bad luck, but you need to come help us. And I was like, I gotta go. Hung up the phone. Let me tell you guys, I didn't talk to my brother Taylor for a year after that. I barely would talk to my sister, and I talked to Darren a few times just because we both had keys to the storage. We were both paying on it. We were all paying on it, but we were the only ones to get stuff out. We both cleaned it out together. And, like I said, you guys, my mom passed away in 2017. I started cutting every single one of them. I quit talking to my aunt that year. I didn't talk to my brother the next year. It was like one after the other. My sister, my other brother, stopped talking to everyone in my family. And like I said, you guys, I never reached out to them. They could have easily reached out to me just to say like, hey, how are you? Never, not one time. And this is something you guys need to pay attention to. When these people know they're in the wrong, they're not going to admit it. They don't care. That's got nothing to do with them. They're not, like, they don't take accountability. They're not respectful like that, especially to you. Like I said, you guys, in the end, I'm having a miscarriage. I'm going through so much, and my brother says, sorry about your bad luck. Okay. Now, here we go. And like I said, you guys, none of these people cared to come around my mom before she passed away. It was just keeping up with appearances. Yeah, we're all here. Not one person being honest, like, dang, I should have been here from the beginning. Oh. Okay? I don't think I saw her sisters cry one time for her. Not once. Could be wrong, but I don't think I witnessed not one time them crying. You guys, so this is what I have for you, about how these people's character is, before, during, after, how they behave for a funeral of somebody that they really didn't care about. All right, you guys, allow that to simmer.